Good morning to everyone. So today I want to start electronic spectroscopy. As we already known in our last video, spectroscopy means interaction of electromagnetic radiations with matter. Especially electronic spectroscopy means interaction of UV visible radiations upon matter. What is the range of this UV visible radiation? The wavelength is from 200 nanometers to 800 nanometers. When this UV visible radiations falls upon the substance, what will happen? Electronic transitions will take place. By studying about this transitions or by studying about this spectra, what we can find is there any conjugation, that is alternative double bonds is there or not? And next one is aromatic conjugation. Okay, right. Now first, today we are discussing about types of electronic transitions. Types of electronic transitions. Generally, in your previous semesters, you know that especially molecular orbital theory, when two sigma electrons are combined, we will get a bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. You know the diagrams like this. Okay, suppose this is 1s, this is 1s, we call this as sigma 1s, that is bonding orbital, and this is anti-bonding orbital. Similarly, when two pi orbitals are combined, we will get pi bonding orbital as well as pi star anti-bonding orbital. You already know that what is meant by bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbital. So here what are the types of electronic transitions is first is bonding in sigma orbitals. You know when this bonding will happen? Whenever the single bond is there. Next one is bonding in pi orbitals. Means whenever a double bond is present, obviously pi orbitals also forms bonding pi orbital and anti-bonding pi orbital. Next one is bond due to n orbitals. What is this one? Looks like as a special one, right? N orbital means non-bonding orbitals. Non-bonding orbitals which contains free electrons. You know whenever oxygen is there, which contains two lone pairs of electrons which are not participating. Oxygen can ready to form two bond pairs which contains two lone pairs. So these non-bonding electrons are present. Even if you took nitrogen which contains one lone pair of electrons. So these are the three different types of orbitals responsible for these electronic transitions. So first we will see what are the types of electronic transitions. First one is sigma to sigma star transitions. Generally sigma to sigma star transitions we observe in which one? Basically alkanes. If you took methane, ethane, propane, pentane, everything, this here the sigma electrons will jump from bonding to anti-bonding during this absorption of radiation from UV or visible. Okay, generally this transition we observe between the range 180 to 400 millimicrons. We observe between the range 180 to 400 millimicrons. Especially these alkanes, that is sigma to sigma star transitions, will takes place at 150 millimicrons. Takes place at 150 millimicrons. Once again I will repeat this one. The types of electronic transitions are due to sigma orbitals, pi orbitals and non-bonding orbitals. Hope you understood what about these three. Now I am telling what is this types of electronic transitions. First one is sigma to sigma star transition. Generally this type of transitions are possible for the in case of alkanes. The total UV visible radiations will come under 180 to 400 millimicrons. But this sigma to sigma star transitions will occur at a wavelength of 150 millimicrons, means which are in far UV region. Actually this type of transitions require more energy, that is less wavelength. Generally sigma bonds are strong bonds, we know that, right? So for this excitation of electron from sigma to antibonding sigma, which requires a lot of energy, so that's why the lambda max value is coming at far UV region. The studies of these sigma to sigma star transitions are not clearly possible for us. Why? Because in this particular region oxygen will absorb lot of energy. So you need to do the experiment by creating vacuum there, and then you need to do the experiment. So sigma to sigma star transitions won't give any information, clear information regarding this UV spectra. And coming to the second one is N to sigma star transitions. N to sigma star transitions. In which cases we will observe such type of transitions? We will observe in type of alkyl halides. Suppose in case of alkyl halides, we have 3 free electrons, isn't it? Okay. So these non-bonding electrons which are connected to the carbon through sigma bond, so the electronic transitions are coming from non-bonding to sigma star antibonding. Okay. Here generally the energy decreases, and absorption of energy decreases as the size of halogens increases. Size of halogens increases. I'll tell you clearly. If you took alkyl chloride, similarly if you took alkyl iodide, among these two lambda max for alkyl iodides is 258 millimicrons. But whereas the lambda max value in alkyl chlorides is 175 millimicrons. Because once again I want to repeat this topic. The second transitions are from N to sigma star. What is the example? Alkyl halides. Here halogens are having 3 lone pairs. So during this excitation, electrons will excite from this non-bonding to sigma star. So energy, the absorption of energy decreases as the size of halogens increases. Because energy decreases, automatically lambda value will get more. Okay. We know from when we are moving from top to bottom in a group, what will happen to electron negativity? Electron negativity decreases from top to bottom. We all know that. Okay. Means chlorine is more electronegative. So in such conditions, these 3 lone pairs of electrons, though it contains 3 lone pairs of electrons, which are not ready to excite, which are not ready to enter into antibonding sigma quickly comparative to iodine. Comparative to chlorine, iodine is less electronegative. So comparative to chlorine, here the electrons are more free. So by supplying a little amount of energy, electrons can easily jump from non-bonding to sigma star. So depending upon the electronegative values, the lambda max values will change. Okay, and one more important point is if a hydrogen bonding is present, then absorption will takes place at a shorter wavelength. You need to remember that if a hydrogen bonding is there, hydrogen bonding shifts the lambda max value to shorter wavelengths, to shorter wavelengths. Okay, right. So this is the which is a second type of transition. Now we are studying about third type of transitions, that is from pi to pi star transitions, which are the more frequent transitions. We can easily study about these transitions in electronic spectroscopy. Alkenes, dienes, everything, aromatic conjugation, where the electron will jump from pi to pi star easily. Because we know pi bond is a weak bond, so pi electrons are free to move. So if you supply a little energy, automatically pi to pi star transitions will takes place. We need less energy, which implies the lambda max is more, wavelength is more. Pi to pi star transitions are easy to study. Next one is n to pi star transitions, where we study such type of n to pi star transitions in the case of aldehydes as well as ketones. Suppose if you took a formaldehyde, here the carbon connects with oxygen with one sigma bond and one is what? Pi bond. Okay, so here this non-bonding electrons, by the absorption of energy, jumps from non-bonding to pi star, This requires very less energy, so lambda max is much more. Okay, now I will show you how these transitions will takes place. Okay, so generally energy we will take upon y-axis, and the what are the various transitions involved, I will show you here. This is what? Energy. Okay, right. So this is sigma. Comparative to sigma, pi have more energy. Comparative to pi, non-bonding have more energy. These are ground states. This is what? Pi star, and this is what? Sigma star. Okay, so if you see here, the first transition requires more energy. Sigma to sigma star transitions require a lot of energy. Okay, so that's why the spectra we observe at very shorter wavelengths. Next one is what? Pi to pi star transitions. So this pi to pi star transitions also requires this requires less energy, so we observe that at strong wavelengths. Next one is n to sigma star. This requires more energy, so it will come at a shorter wavelengths. Sorry, from here n to sigma star. And next one is n to pi star. So if you observe carefully here, which one is having less amount of energy? N to pi star transitions requires very less energy, so that the lambda max values will come at very higher wavelengths. Okay, so these are the different types of transitions. One is sigma to sigma star, n to sigma star, pi to pi star, and n to pi star transitions available during this electronic spectroscopy. In my next video, I will tell you about what is the chromophore concept, what are bathochromic shift, hypsochromic shift, so that how these groups will causing the shift of lambda max from shorter to higher wavelengths or from higher to shorter wavelengths.